If you've ever dreamed of exploring a sunken ship, swimming with sharks, or discovering an underwater hidden paradise, then scuba diving is for you. Hi there, my name is Lou and I'm a certified advanced open water scuba diver living in Melbourne. Look, I've been scuba diving for 10 years now and it's absolutely changed my life. So, because sharing is caring, I thought I'd share 5 reasons why scuba diving is for you and lure you over to the dark side. The first reason why you should try scuba diving is because it allows you to spend extended time underwater. Look, for all my love of freediving, and check out my other videos if you haven't, there's been times when I really wish I would have scuba dived instead. I remember this quite vividly while I was freediving one of the world famous sinkholes in Mexico. So we got there, we got to this lake, we put in our gear, we swam out, and I was like, where the hell is this sinkhole? Because we're just in a big, massive lake. And I had just had this conversation with a scuba diver there who had told me, like, if you like scuba diving, why the hell did you move to Melbourne? Like, that's one of the worst places to scuba dive in the world. Which, by the way, I don't agree. There's plenty of good places to scuba dive here, and I will cover them in other videos, so stay tuned. But that's not the point. The point is, he was saying, visibility is not as good as in the Yucatan Peninsula, and it's cold and whatnot, but his big thing was about visibility and depth, that the bay in Port Phillip Bay is not really deep. Again, caveats, but anyway. The point is, we get to this lake where the sinkhole is, and we do our first dive down the line, and I go down to 7 meters just to, get comfortable, see where I'm at, and there's zero visibility. I cannot even see my hand when I extend it. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, what the hell? What was this guy on about? Like, I can't see anything. And I was feeling a bit blue because I was like, well, this was meant to be a very cool experience and I can't see anything, but I chose to embrace it and thought, I'll just do a training session. It'll be fine. Anyhow, next go, I go down deeper, and after 7 meters, of course, what I found is that this lake actually had a thermocline. So the first 7 meters were quite thick in terms of visibility, but then after the 7-meter mark, visibility suddenly just extended to like 30 meters or more. It was stunning. I just had this beautiful rock formations around me, and I found myself in the midst of this massive, gorgeous sinkhole. It was beautiful, but the sad part was I could just stay there for limited amounts of time, couldn't I? I could go down, look a bit around me, maybe spend 20 seconds there, and then I had to come back up. And honestly, I just wanted to stay down there. And there were a few scuba divers further down that were exploring the cave and the rock formations around us. And I was so jealous. I just wanted to be with them. Which actually takes me to reason number 2. The second reason why you should try scuba diving is because it allows you to access deeper, more remote sites. There's places you can only access through scuba diving. Going back to Mexico, while the cenote I went to could tailor for both freedivers and scuba divers, there were others that you really could only enjoy while doing scuba. Cenotes like Angelita, for example, which has a very eerie looking underwater river created by a thick layer of hydrogen sulfide that's around 30 meters deep, and it has like this branches coming out of those layers that make it look like a submerged forest, really are best enjoyed with scuba. And even other sinkholes like Dos Ojos, which can also be accessed through snorkeling and freediving, have like long pieces of underwater tunnels that honestly you're better off going with the scuba gear. Essentially, scuba opens up the door for you to a lot of destinations that you can't access through snorkeling or freediving alone. In addition to the sinkholes I just mentioned, you have deep coral reefs such as Palancar in Cozumel, back in Mexico again. Yes, sorry, I'm skewed and Mexican, deal with it. You've got shipwrecks like the SS Yongal in Queensland, which is also sitting around 20 meters deep, where you can see hammerhead sharks, rays, sea snakes. It's got a huge diversity of sea life. And while you can arguably get to 20 meters depth while freediving, and even to 40, wouldn't you want to stay there for longer? The third reason why you should try scuba diving is because if you hate the idea of freediving and holding your breath, guess what? You don't have to hold your breath. In that sense, the first rule of scuba diving is never hold your breath. I'll explain why in another video, but the point is, if the idea of holding your breath makes you anxious and you're concerned about it, there's no need to stress with scuba. You're breathing underwater. And for those of you who are a bit uneasy about the idea of breathing through a tank and running out of air, people, this is the reason why we get certified. When you're scuba diving, you've got a gauge that tells you exactly how much air you have left. And you go by the rule of thirds. So what does this mean? This means that you're looking at your air and you will use a third of that air getting to wherever it is that you want to get to. When you get to that third, you turn back and you use the second third on the way back, which means you still have a third left as a reserve in case of emergencies. If you do follow this rule, check your air consistently and communicate with your buddy. Guess what? There's no way you're gonna run out of air before coming up. Also, if the worst does come to pass and you run out of air because of an external variable that's beyond your control, every single scuba diver carries a second regulator, which means you can actually breathe from someone else's tank. So again, it's safe. Actually, scuba diving is so safe that it remains one of the most accessible sports in terms of entry requirements. The minimum age to get a PADI open water diver certificate is 10 years old. You can get an advanced open water certificate when you're 12. And while you do have to be a reasonably good swimmer to find yourself out in the ocean, it's still quite accessible to a range of fitness levels. So it's a good, comfortable option for people who love the ocean and just want to explore a bit further. The fourth reason why you should try scuba diving is because it offers so many options. Okay, so this channel is all about making the ocean accessible to people. At this point, I've already covered why try snorkeling as an entry-level point if you're still a bit hesitant and not very familiar with the ocean. And then you've got the option to go down the freediving line, which you can even do either recreationally or competitively, which I'll get to. Or you can become a scuba diver if you want to go deeper. These are the options if you go down the scuba route. It's a world of possibilities in and of itself. You can keep progressing until you become a scuba instructor, or you can get certified in countless different specialties. There's something for everyone, ranging from underwater photography, cave diving, ice diving, search and recovery, navigation, fish ID, you name it. You know what the best thing is? The options are not mutually exclusive, so for that matter, you can try them all if you'd like. Which takes me to reason number 5. Becoming a scuba diver lets you join a global community of like-minded people. Becoming a certified scuba diver connects you to a worldwide network of passionate divers, opening the door to diving trips, conservation projects, and lifelong friendships. Just to give you an idea, PADI, the largest scuba diving certifying agency at the moment, has given more than 29 million certifications since its inception in 1966. If you combine that with other agencies such as SSI and CMAS, the numbers escalate to 40 million divers worldwide. This is a massive community. Now, I'll grant you, not all divers are active divers, but it's still estimated that around 6 million people are diving around the world each year. Honestly, you're not going to meet 6 million people in your life. The point is, scuba diving will introduce you to others who share a passion for the big blue, have a wealth of knowledge to share, and are eager to go out with you. It's the classic old saying of, if you want to do something, do it alone, you will find your people in the way. Once you get certified, you can keep scuba as a recreational activity and just go scuba diving when you're out on holidays and stuff like that. Or you can make it more of an active hobby and be engaged in citizen science projects and conservation projects. Honestly, you can take it as intensely or as casually as you'd like. It's your own journey to make. You can start meeting other scuba divers in online forums like Scuba Board, through your local dive shop or your local scuba club, and even through Facebook groups. Trust me, your people are out there, and they're dying to meet you. So there you go. Those are my 5 reasons for you to try scuba diving. And look, if you're not feeling ready to take the deep plunge and want to dip your toe in the water instead, check out my snorkeling series. And if you're like, okay, where do I sign? Check out my other scuba diving videos where I cover things like gear, how to test your buoyancy, how to equalize, and more. See you next time.